Hello everyone. Today in this lecture we will be studying about balancing of radial engine and we will be focusing on direct and reverse crank method. As in the previous few lectures we have studied about what is balancing of reciprocating masses, what are partial balancing, what is primary unbalanced force, what is secondary unbalanced force. So today in the same sequence we will be focusing ourselves to balancing of radial engines. So first of all, what is a radial engine? What is balancing? What is crank? So these are some of the terminologies we must know. So a radial engine, what is a radial engine? Yeah, let's start. I think it is visible. Okay. So what is a radial engine? A radial engine is a multi-cylinder engine in which all the connecting rods are connected to a common crank. We have seen the example of V engines, W engines, etc. So these are all radial engines. Suppose if I am drawing a simple slider crank mechanism. Suppose we have a slider B, we have a crank AB, we have a connecting rod AB and we have a crank say OA having the radius say R, the length of the connecting rod is L as usual, and at an instant suppose this crank is making an angle theta with the line of action. That means this is the crank which is rotating about point O. So what is a radial engine? Radial engine is radial engine is a multi-cylinder engine in which all the connecting rods are connected to a common crank. Radial engine is a multi-cylinder engine in which all the connecting rods are connected to a common crank. What is the advantage of this? The main advantage of this is since all the connecting rods are connected to a common crank, that means we have a single plane of rotation. That is why we only have the unbalanced forces but not the couples. So the analysis of forces in such type of engine is much simpler by using the method of direct and reverse crank method. So today we will be focusing on direct and reverse crank method, as all the forces are in the same plane because they are rotating to a common crank, so no unbalanced couple exists. So as you can see in this figure, so primary force, the magnitude is mr omega square cos theta. So that is mr omega square cos theta, and this is along the line of stroke or line of action I am using many times. So in the method of direct and reverse crank of force, what we do is in this method, that is direct and reverse crank method, what I do is, I just explain you in the figure. What we do is, suppose we consider a direct crank OA which is rotating with angular velocity omega, say in clockwise direction, and having a radius R. What we do is we consider a mass of magnitude m/2 on the direct crank, and on the same inclination from the line of action we draw another mass, or we place another mass of magnitude m by 2. This is known as the reverse crank, and this is your direct crank. So reverse crank is placed with the same radius r and mass m by 2, just opposite to the direct crank. So what is the main logic behind this? In this method, that is in the direct and reverse crank method, a force identical to the force is generated by two masses in the following way. Well, I'll show you the method. A mass m by 2 is placed at the crank pin A and rotating at an angular velocity omega in given direction, as you can see in this particular figure. Similarly, a mass m by 2 placed at the crank pin of an imaginary O A dash at the same angular position as the real crank, but in the opposite direction. Suppose it is rotating with omega in the clockwise direction, so it is in the opposite direction. The imaginary crank is assumed to rotate at the same angular speed, that is omega, in the opposite direction to that of the real crank. What I mean to say is, suppose we have a point O in which we have a crank OA of radius r rotating with angular velocity omega at an instant and having angle theta. So let here the mass is placed equals to the m by 2, where m is the total reciprocating mass per cylinder. And suppose in direct and reverse crank method, what we assume is, we assume an imaginary crank OA dash rotating with angular velocity omega radian per second is inclined at an angle theta at an instant, having the same radius r. So, and it is also carrying a mass of m by 2. Thus, while rotating, two masses coincides only on the cylinder center line. Now the component of centrifugal force may be due to the rotating masses along the line of stroke. So suppose it is also creating a centrifugal force, that is mass, that is m by 2 into r into omega square. This at A dash, which is a reverse crank, or we can say the imaginary crank rotating with centrifugal force m by 2 r omega square. Hope it is clear. And along the line of action, the primary unbalanced forces m r omega square cos theta. So components of centrifugal force due to rotating masses along line of stroke will be how much? Now first, due to mass at A. So at A it will be m by 2 into r omega square. This is the centrifugal force, and its component on the line of action will be cos theta. Let it be equation 1. Hope it is clear. Similarly, due to mass at A dash will be how much? Same centrifugal force m by 2 r omega square, and the component will be cos theta. Yes. Thus the total force, this much is clear, that is centrifugal force thus along the line of stroke will create m by 2 r omega square cos theta. Similarly, A dash will also create centrifugal force is m by 2 r omega square, and component along line of action will be cos theta. Yes? Okay. Thus the total force along the, therefore total force along line of stroke will be how much? It will be m by 2 r omega square cos theta because of this A. Yes, I think it is visible. Yes, plus m by 2 r omega square cos theta, that is because of the mass at A dash. So total will be m r omega square cos theta, that is equals to, it seems similar, but the logic is very important. Thus the total force along the line of stroke is m r omega square cos theta, which is equal to the primary force. So at any instant the component of centrifugal force of these two masses normal to the line of stroke will be equal and opposite, very obvious. So the crank rotating in the direction of engine rotate is known as direct crank, and the imaginary crank rotating in opposite direction is known as reverse crank. That is, this crank is the direct, you can see the figure, this crank which is rotating in the clockwise direction is the direct crank, and the imaginary crank rotating in the opposite direction is the reverse crank. So OA is the direct crank and OA dash is the reverse crank. Hope it is clear. Okay. Similarly, we can do for secondary forces also. In the same pattern, we can do for secondary forces also. So likewise, suppose we had a crank. So at an instant when it was rotating with theta, so crank say OA, which was rotating theta in clockwise direction with velocity omega. Yes, and reverse crank A dash was rotating anti-clockwise with same speed omega, and at an instant it was making an angle theta. So that time the primary unbalanced force, that is Fp, was equals to mr omega square cos theta. This much is clear. Yes, this OA and OA dash are the direct and reverse crank for the primary forces. Yes, but at the same time, when we study about secondary forces, so the magnitude of secondary accelerating force is how much? mr omega square cos 2 theta upon n. Yes, this is the magnitude. That means the time at which the primary, this you need to understand. The time at an instant when it is making an angle theta, the primary forces having the crank OA and OA dash, but at the same time the secondary forces has the magnitude of 2 theta. That means this distance traveled, say 2 theta, suppose this is OC, and we are drawing the reverse crank also, this is OC dash. So this OC, very very important, this OC and OC dash are the secondary direct crank and secondary reverse crank. So this is the secondary direct crank and this OC dash is the secondary reverse crank. What I mean to say is at an instant, suppose at any time delta t, when the primary forces has the magnitude mr omega square cos theta, that means the primary direct crank was OA and OA dash. At the same instant, secondary unbalanced forces or secondary forces has traveled a distance of 2 theta. That means the speed will be how much? 2 omega. Yes, in the clockwise as well as in the anti-clockwise direction. So hope you understand. And suppose they are carrying the same weight of m by 2 at C and m by 2 at C dash. So now this secondary force can be written as m r, the speed is 2 omega square cos 2 theta. So since we have added 4 on the numerator, so we will divide it by 4 also. Or we can write it as, how we can write it in terms of mr omega square? We can write it as m, yes, r upon 4n into 2 omega square into cos 2 theta. That means if suppose the centrifugal force here is how much? M by 2 into R. So in this case, this will be the R for secondary force. So R for secondary speed is, this is whole square, 2 omega whole square. So the magnitude of centrifugal force at the direct crank C will be m by 2 R is into speed square. Hope it is clear. So now if these forces can be, hope the figure is clear. So we will take m by 2 R is 2 omega square in the clockwise direction. In the same way we will take in the anti-clockwise direction and we will take its components. So what I mean to say is, the mass m by 2 placed at the end of the direct crank, the mass m by 2 placed at the end of the direct crank of length, how much? R upon 4n at an angle 2 theta and rotating at an angular speed of 2 omega in the given direction, as you can see in this figure. In the same way, a mass of m by 2 placed at the end of reverse secondary crank or of length, how much? R upon 4n at an angle of say negative 2 theta, rotating with angular speed 2 omega in the opposite direction. Now the components of centrifugal force due to the rotating masses will be, now due to C it will be m by 2, this Rs will be how much? R upon 4n. So the effect of centrifugal force here will be mass, that is m by 2, R, that is radius, is how much? R upon 4n, omega is 2 omega square. Yes, this is for reverse and same is for direct. So I am taking components directly. So components of centrifugal force due to rotating masses along line of stroke. So I'm taking directly, it is due to mass at C, it will be m by 2. You can see the figure, r upon 4n into 2 omega square, and the component will be cos 2 theta, which can directly be written as mr omega square cos 2 theta upon 2n. It is similar to the secondary force, but it is half the magnitude, as we have taken as direct and reverse crank. Similarly, I think it is visible. Okay. In the same way, due to mass at C dash, it will be m by 2 r upon 4n, same 2 omega square cos 2 theta, which is mr omega square upon 2n cos 2 theta. Let it be equation 3rd and let it be equation 4th. Yes, now the total force along the line of stroke will be equals to equation 3 plus equation 4, that is due to the direct crank C and due to the reverse crank C dash. So it will come out to be how much? mr omega square upon 2n cos 2 theta plus mr omega square upon 2n cos 2 theta, which is mr omega square cos 2 theta upon n, which is equal to the secondary force. This method can be used to find the forces in several different types of radial engines. So hope it is clear. So what I did is, I'll just explain you again in brief. So what we did is, our heading was direct balancing of radial engines, that is direct and reverse crank method. So I told you what is a radial engine. Radial engine is a multi-cylinder engine in which all the connecting rods are connected to a common crank. In this, to explain, I have taken a single cylinder system. So primary force, we know the magnitude is mr omega square cos theta, which is along the line of stroke, that is OB. So what we have done is, for primary forces, that is for primary forces, we have taken the direct crank OA and the reverse crank OA dash, that is direct crank and reverse crank. We have placed a mass of magnitude m by 2 on the direct and reverse crank, and we have taken the components of the centrifugal force along the line of stroke OB. So the magnitude, because of this centrifugal force at A, is m by 2 r omega square. In the same way, at A dash, that is at reverse crank, it is m by 2 r omega square. The component is m by 2 r omega square cos theta, equation 1, and due to this A dash, that is reverse crank, it is m by 2 r omega square cos theta. Then the total will be, due to direct crank plus due to reverse crank, it comes out to be mr omega square cos theta, which is same as the primary force. Similarly, for secondary force, we know the magnitude is mr omega square cos 2 theta, which can also be written as m, as I have written here, mr 2 omega whole square dot cos 2 theta upon 4n. Why I have taken 2 theta? Because the time at which the primary force was traveling and making an angle theta, at the same time it is making 2 theta. So that means our crank for the secondary forces would have traveled double the distance traveled by the primary crank. So our, say, primary direct crank at OC so it would have been traveled with double the speed. So mr into speed with which the secondary direct crank is traveling, that is 2 omega square. So what we have done is we have just made it simpler in the form like this to convert it into the component of centrifugal forces. So so r becomes this. So our equation is taken as general term of mr in omega square into cos component. Yes, so this was the main logic behind. What I did is we have in the same way we have taken m by 2 at c and c dash, that is the direct secondary crank and direct reverse secondary crank. Speed is 2 omega and radius is r upon 4n both sides. So we have taken the components of centrifugal force due to rotating masses along line of stroke. Due to mass at c, it is m by 2 r upon 4n dot 2 omega square cos 2 theta, and due to mass at c dash, it is m by 2 r upon 4n 2 omega whole square dot cos 2 theta. It comes out to be mr omega square by 2n cos 2 theta. Adding equation third and fourth, finally we get, and it is equal to the expression of secondary force. Hope it is clear. Thank you so much.